Donald Trump's global trade tactics have now spiraled into a nightmare he simply cannot fix. In this video, we're going to break down how Trump's trade tariffs have trapped the United States into an impossible situation, a deeply ironic situation. And from an African perspective, we're going to look at how Africa may be able to take advantage of this as we explore the continent's crucial role in this unfolding drama. There are definitely clear lessons that every African must pay attention to in this situation. If you don't know me, my name is TJ, I'm Nigerian and British mixed. And on this channel, we talk about African geopolitics. So when Donald Trump entered office, his message was clear. The world would have to play by Washington's rules or pay the price. His weapon of choice? Tariffs. He publicly unveiled a long list of countries from around the world that would face new trade penalties. He did it with a boastful smile and a measure of pride. This wasn't a targeted strike, it was a global squeeze. Trump's strategy was to show dominance, using economic pain to force respect. For a while, I sat back and watched to see if this would work. But even within a few months, it became obvious that this approach was eroding America's most valuable asset, trust. And that's the irony at heart of today's crisis. You see, you can win the game today, but if you play in a way that makes no one want to play with you in the future, you lose in the long run. Trump played for dominance, not longevity. He squeezed his trading partners for short-term wins. And now, as new tensions emerge, he's finding out that the world remembers how it was treated. Many of those nations that he slapped tariffs on have since diversified their trade relations, looking to trade with China, the BRICS, Global South, and Africa. Africa in particular, especially in the agricultural sector, has become one of those new centers of diversification as countries look for partners outside of America's orbit to trade with. In recent days, Trump's administration has doubled down on its trade war rhetoric, blaming China for weaponizing its control of global supply chains. In response to Beijing's new export restrictions on rare earth minerals, the US has announced tariffs up to 145% on key Chinese goods. This is a dramatic escalation. The official line is that these tariffs will protect American jobs, but the reality is different. This move risks sparking a global economic storm, the likes of which we have not yet even entered. See, this move by China on the rare earths regulation is just another one of Beijing's countermeasures against Trump's squeeze on tariffs around the world. You see, if you're going to squeeze a country, you better make sure that they have nothing to squeeze you back with. The problem for America here is that China dominates the refining of rare earth minerals, accounting for nearly 90% of the global processing capacity. What's new is that Beijing is now linking its export rules to global products that rely on even trace amounts of Chinese refined inputs. That means that if just 0.1% of a product's value comes from Chinese rare earths, Beijing can restrict those exports. This gives China an invisible hand over global manufacturing, from semiconductors and electric vehicles to smartphones and wind turbines. And this is where Trump's latest gamble looks particularly reckless. Instead of de-escalating based off this reaction from China, the US is trying to rally a global coalition of countries against Beijing. Those countries that he squeezed with the trade tariff, he now wants to buddy up with and fight the dangerous Chinese. But those same countries, well, they need rare earths too. Trump's new trade advisor, Scott Bessent, took to the podium and declared that China has weaponized rare earth exports against the world, promising that the West will neither be commanded nor controlled. His message sounded defiant, but his tone betrayed uncertainty.
We have lots of levers that we can pull for products that they need that could be equally damaging. We don't want to damage their economy. We don't believe that they want to damage ours, but they are a command and control economy, and they are going to neither command nor control us.
Did you notice in that clip how he was talking?
We have lots of...
Does he sound like a man that's holding strong cards, or does he sound hesitant, stumbling and stuttering through his words? Let's be clear. Trump is now turning to the same countries he spent months alienating: Europe, Japan, South Korea, and even India, asking them to join this coalition. I mean, he's been lambasting India for months about buying Russian oil. These are the very nations that suffered from America's tariffs on steel, aluminium, the auto industry, some as high as 25%. Many of the leaders of these countries endured public humiliation sitting in the Oval Office with the prideful Trump telling them how they have to trade with America or face the consequences. See, these leaders remember the insult and the economic pain. And now Washington expects them to march alongside Trump against Beijing. I mean, all they've been hearing is America first, America first. I mean, what would the incentive be for them to be sympathetic to America when trading with China, when they can go and negotiate their own favorable deals with China themselves? Indeed, for the continent of Africa, when these trade wars kicked off, the first thing China did was remove all trade tariffs for 54 of Africa's 53 countries, a masterstroke in building trust and long-term stability. It's the ultimate irony and the consequence of Trump's short-term thinking. By strong-arming his global allies, Trump created a world where nations learned to trade without him, or at least tried their best to. Many of them have expanded commerce with China, the BRICS nations, while diversifying away from the dollar as much as possible. Over 50% of cross-China trade now is settled in Chinese currency. India, a noted target of this coalition from the United States perspective, continues to buy roughly 1.7 million barrels per day of discounted Russian oil, some of it paid in Chinese currency as well. You see, these countries have already started adapting to the new global reality that Trump kicked off. And yet Trump's team is proposing even more extreme actions, including authorizing a up to 500% tariff on Chinese companies purchasing Russian oil. That number is just simply laughable. It's not only unrealistic, it's absurd. A 500% tariff simply wouldn't work. It would devastate global trade, US included, and send inflation through the roof. It's the kind of idea that sounds like a child throwing out wild numbers to look strong in front of adults. No serious policymaker can take that kind of threat for real. It's the kind of talk that will make global leaders roll their eyes and diversify further away from the United States, seeking stability elsewhere. So right now, it seems that the US administration is boxed in by its own squeezing tactics. America is calling for a global coalition to counter a rival that controls essential minerals for the modern economy, while relying on partners who need those minerals and no longer trust it. From an African perspective, it's yet more proof why Africa must stay the course on everything we discuss on this channel. The continent must continue to diversify away from the US. It must continue to build its manufacturing capacity. It must stand as a united bloc to negotiate from strength. The global chaos we're witnessing is evidence that those principles are not just good ideas, they are necessities. Africa sits at the very heart of this new geopolitical race for resources. If you're a regular viewer of mine, you will know that the continent holds 30% of the world's untapped mineral wealth: cobalt, lithium, manganese, and rare earths. The very elements driving this global struggle. As Washington and Beijing look for new suppliers, they will both come knocking on Africa's door. The West's track record, built on slavery, colonialism, neo-colonialism, shady trade practices, resource extraction, political destabilization, is now undeniable. Everybody knows about it. But Africa has not been in any kind of serious position to do anything about that type of predatory activity for centuries. But if we take the action to de-dollarize and build our manufacturing base, work as a unit, Africa will be able to raise the standard of living for its everyday people because it has more leverage in the global trade market. Still, the bigger lesson for Africa comes from China itself. China gained leverage not by owning the materials, but by mastering the value chain, refining, processing, and manufacturing. The irony is that many of those materials are mined in the continent of Africa, and that is why Africa must push for value addition, industrialization, and knowledge transfer. Africa must continue to build global strategic partnerships with the Global South, BRICS, and especially China. But these partnerships must lead to genuine shared value creation. That means refining resources on African soil, developing African infrastructure, and transferring technical expertise to African engineers and African entrepreneurs. This should be the price that China or any other country pays to the continent's resources. For Africa to truly maximize its opportunities, these efforts must happen on a continental scale. We must act as a single trading bloc. Only then will we match the scale of China, India, South America, the United States, and Europe. So we're going to have to watch this space closely over the next few weeks and months and see how things unfold. But at some point, Trump won't be able to hide behind bravado or slogans to cover up worsening trade numbers and a weakening domestic economy. When cars, phones, and entire industries that rely on semiconductors and rare earths begin shutting down or hiking prices, it will hit the ordinary American hard. And it's not like their economy is in a really strong position already. These shortages won't just hurt consumers, they'll ripple throughout the US military industrial base as well. It's not like that defense or now war department is a cheap thing to run. So adding costs to it won't be popular or easy. Africa's role in all of this is just to watch closely and identify if new opportunities emerge, as Trump's policies inflict lasting damage to the US economy. As global trade partners shift and new alliances form, Africa must stay alert, agile, and ready to position itself to benefit from this new world order. I would love to know what you guys think about this out there. Have you been following these trade wars? Let me know in the comments. But if you have nothing to say, would it be too much for you to write the words, "Let's build Africa's manufacturing base right now"? It just lets me know that you watched the video to the end, you like what I'm doing, and you want me to continue. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.